killed the man. He had a good reason. He didn't mean it. So the bottom line is that he himself went through an experience where he killed someone inadvertently. And it wasn't evil, right? So when someone got killed, he assumed that it was evil. So he should have done what? Reflected on his own scenario and said, wait a minute, I should think better. Maybe there is a good reason. Make sense? That's really the lesson. And what's the second? There's the ship thing, the water thing, and there is the helping of others.
And the helping was when he was leading his people from Pharaoh, and they were very ignorant, and he would advise them, and they would still question him repeatedly, and they would go against his teachings.
Yeah.
As for the ship, I'm assuming the baby, when he was a baby, and his mother put him in the...
Yes, absolutely. So let's take that one. He, in his infancy, Pharaoh wanted to kill all the infants or all the children of Israel, of the tribe of Israel. And his mother put him in a basket and threw him into the river. He is an innocent child in the river. He would, if he had an intellect to ask questions, he would be saying, like, why am I in the river? Right? Floating. Meaning it was taking him on a journey. Who's taking care of that? Latif. Steering the ship to go to the next juncture of his life. He was picked up by the people of the Pharaoh. Isn't that amazing? Who shaped that journey? Allah. If you look at it from a distance, you say, what an evil mother. Why would you throw your child into a river? Same thing happened in his adult life. He asked the question, why did you puncture the ship? The ship doesn't make sense. He should have thought better. I was in a basket myself, and it was taking me on a journey, but I couldn't see it. Make sense? And the third, actually it's an excellent example, his patience with his own people who are greedy and selfish and questioning and griping about everything. Right? Literally when they were in the desert, when they left Egypt on their way to Palestine, they were questioning everything. They were complaining about everything, that God made them get lost in the desert. 40 years. Amazing. But he continued to be good to them. But also another story where he helped the two women in Midian. He arrives at a city after he killed the man. Poor, homeless, nothing. He had nothing. He arrives at this strange city, and he's sitting under a tree, and he sees these two women with a bunch of rowdy men that refuse to let them come in and water their sheep. And despite his weakness, despite his fatigue after a long journey in the desert, he gets up, he says, I have to do the right thing, and he takes their sheep and waters their sheep. He did an act of goodness at a moment, spur of a moment, right? He wasn't looking for a reward. So it maps to the event where Al-Khidr did the same. So Musa should have thought, wait a minute, I did it in my life multiple times, where despite the meanness of people, I was good because I was not seeking good from them, I was seeking good from God. Makes sense? So he should have thought, and he should have thought of the consequences. When he helped the two women, what ended up happening? God opened the doors for him. He actually ends up marrying one of them and having a job. And doors opened up by an act of service that was sincere. So you should have thought better about the act of service then. That you don't do it because of, based on the character of people. The bottom line here, the lesson is that the things that we question all the time in our lives, if we look at our past, we'll see similar events. Where Allah gave us an explanation, where He opened doors, but we just don't connect. We're so wrapped up in our current conditions, and we constantly tend towards the negative. The brain tends towards the negative. I'm deprived, it's terrible, it's horrible, nothing's going to work out, it's unfair. And we dwell on this. And when you dwell on things, you cannot see, either in your past or in your future. But that rest assured, the unfolding of the plans of Allah will take place, and you'll see it with time though. You have to be patient. You cannot see it now. As I said, just as the seed has to germinate at the right time and the fruit has to become ripe at the right time, precisely calculated, such is your growth, your understanding, your faith, the resolution to your problems, the reason why you don't get that job, or you marry this person or that person. It's all worked out. But you just have to do your part. Inshallah, go ahead. You wanted to say something?
I want to ask, is that reference to thee and to them?
Can you raise your voice?
Like to the end, to them. To the end, to
Like what
them.
goes around comes around.
Oh yeah, come back to dinu to dan. Yes. Powerful concept. It's one of the axioms. And it's, you know, what you, absolutely, it's a powerful axiom, brothers and sisters. A rule that we should live our lives with. Rest assured that whatever you put out, it will come back in powerful ways, including a thought. We tend to think of just actions. Thoughts and intentions come back, ripple out in powerful ways. You know, if I can actually show you, I swear to you, experiments in physics that show that the thought can control the outcome of the behavior of electrons. This matter, I'm not exaggerating. I can show it to you. I'll bring a presentation next semester. This is probably the end of this, there's no time. To show you how when you think of something and you observe it, the way you observe something and look at it changes its behavior. We just don't understand it. It's in physical reality. Be careful of your thoughts. They become intentions. Be careful of your intentions. They become, you know, actions, because you can act on your thoughts. And be careful of your actions. They become your reality. The way you look at reality changes reality itself, and it's indeed there. You smile at someone, you're going to see smiles. You help someone, you're going to see tons of help in your life. You open a door for someone, you're going to get doors open. You put misery out there, you're going to see misery. You cause pain, you will see pain. Amazing axiom in our lives, which should really compel us to think about what we're putting out energy-wise. And I would say Tudan is in the future. It's going to happen. I would actually qualify it and say it has already happened. Including, like, if I cause pain, I've already incurred the pain. You just don't see it. But it has already taken place. You've already harmed yourself. You brought relief. You've already created, by the virtue of Allah, relief for yourself. But you're just not sensing it. Inshallah, any comments? Inshallah, I'd like to open the floor for question. And again, really the idea here, the notion here is around how do we see our own problems and interpret them and understand them? And what do we do when we're failing to understand the purpose behind our pains, our struggles? Why is it difficult to see the future or to live in the mystery of not knowing? Anybody would like to share, probably based on their own experiences or what they've seen with their friends, the struggles? Welcome, inshallah, any comments or questions on this subject? Or perhaps if you think of stories that remind you of this meaning, of the presence of Allah, Al-Latif, in our lives. Go ahead, Pinar.
Okay, so you said we're judged based off our thoughts as well, right?
You're judged on your thoughts if you act on them. But the thoughts have consequences. So if you were to think of, like, you're not, like in Islamic, in our Islamic paradigm, your intentions, you should pay it clearly before you act on an intention. The intention itself, you're not judged on that intention. But if you act it out, then you're going to reap a bad deed.
Okay.
Right? However, having the bad intention has consequences on your life. Because it reaps what? Like pain, bitterness, the possibility of doing something bad. But if you stop yourself, then Allah does not. If anything, He'll replace the bad deed with a good deed. So that's the generosity of Allah. Because He's trying to encourage us to replace the negative thoughts with positive thoughts.
I think I was having a conversation with my friend actually in the car about how when someone is negative towards me, there's always that part of you that wants to be, just as petty or just as negative. But if you do give in to that, then you're only affecting yourself. You start to carry that darkness with you, and eventually it does make you start thinking negatively, start acting out negatively. And I think, is that sort of what you mean by that?
That's one of the consequences. Of course, like they say, actually, here's what happens, even physiologically. Like one negative emotion, kind of, first of all, even affects the blood flow in the brain. Like, let's say if you're thinking ungratefully, if I'm thinking fear, if I'm experiencing fear right now, just to give you an example, if all I'm thinking is like, oh, life is awful, terrible, literally your brain shuts down. And what it activates is stress hormones. And what it activates is a part of the brain that puts you into this fight or flight mode. I'm just giving you an example. That literally just if I'm thinking just fear, right? Just that thought by itself shuts down your ability in your own brain to access the resources of the brain. And you know what it also does? Your new frontal cortex is neutralized. The blood lessens to that area. And what is the prefrontal cortex is in charge of your executive function. Like that's where you think, that's where you carry out executive decision making. Literally, if I'm in what's called a fight or flight mode, I cannot think critically about life. Literally, I'll shut down as a human being. If I'm thinking positively, they actually analyze the brain. When you think gratefully, when you think well, positive emotions literally expand the ability of the brain to access itself. The blood flow increases to the prefrontal cortex. Good hormones get released, including oxytocin, dopamine. Like a good deed, a good thought will release dopamine in the brain. How is that? Why is that? Why is Allah wiring us that way? Because when you have dopamine, it compels you to do more good deeds. That's amazing. So literally, Allah is wiring our brain to reward you for having positive thoughts. You feel better about yourself, right? And when you feel better, you do better. But if I have negative thoughts, I do awful things and the brain shuts down. So I'm already, even at a personal level, I'm incurring pain. And I'm not able to essentially live my potential as a human being. And I'm causing pain to myself. Now, in addition to the pain, I'm going to cause you as a human being. So it's going to automatically, I'm punishing myself, essentially. That's what we do not understand, is that one bad seed in the field of intention can wreak havoc in our psychology, in our brains. And enough for us to understand the result of just having that stress with it. It wreaks havoc in your brain. I haven't even talked about the spiritual effects yet. I'm just talking about physiological effects. On the other hand, that's why Allah Azza wa Jalla says in the Quran, وَأَتْبِعِ السَّيِّئَةَ الْحَسَنَةَ تَمْحُوهَا. I'm going to tell you a powerful, again, formula. You're struggling with pain. You're looking down on yourself. You're just discouraged. You say, I'm no good. Like whatever it is that you've done in your life, you made mistakes, you're far from Allah, you feel that you're not doing well academically or in your job or in your relationships. Here's what Allah says. There's an amazing, powerful ability of the human being, spiritually, emotionally, and physiologically, to recover instantly. That's part of the design of Allah. So He says, follow the bad things with a good thing. It'll wipe it out. Now, look at how superficial we are. This is a tragic thing in our discourse in Islam. Whenever we think of good deeds and bad deeds, what do we think about? What am I gonna get? And we think in terms of what? What is it called? Something that is written. What is it called? Come on. The two angels, what are they recording? These. And what do you get for, kids, when they get a good score, what do they get? Yeah, and they get the star. Wallahi, we reduced Islam to stars. Oh, I'm going to get a star, I'm going to get hasanat. We have no idea what hasanat are all about. Wallahi, we think it's like a scorecard. I'm just increasing my grades so that one day I'll get it. And if I do horrible, I'm going to see these bad grades. What an awful understanding of reality. If all we understand, Allah and how He deals with us is hasanat and bad deeds and good deeds, and not understanding these hasanat have actually implications in our lives right now. Hasanat is not just something in your record. Hasanat is goodness and abundance in your life right now. Bad deeds in your record are not just something you're going to see in the hereafter. No. It's pain right now. That's what we're not understanding. So when I do a good deed, here's what happens. Allah promises you, it'll start healing you. I'd like to replace the word or use the word healing. He says, I'll heal you, do a good thing. I swear to you, brothers and sisters, psychologically, they've studied this. In the brain, you do one good thing right now. Let's say I'm not feeling, I'm depressed. What I'm being compelled to do by virtue of this verse is to get up, go, let's say hug someone. let's say go help a poor person. Help somebody who's having a hard time studying, whatever, help them out, help them solve a problem. Take them somewhere and, enjoy a good companionship right now. Go check on your mother. Do something good, whatever it is that you deem to be good. But force yourself to do it right away. Here's what's going to happen. Allah promises it'll wipe the bad deeds. In our heads, we're thinking the record again. But let's think about what happens to you spiritually and psychologically. In the brain, they analyze this. When you do something grateful, something good, dopamine gets released. What does dopamine do? It's called the feel-good hormone. It makes you feel good about yourself. What happens when you feel good about yourself? You're going to overcome the negative emotions. Dopamine will help you do more good deeds. It says, this felt so good. Keep doing it. Oh, you hugged your mother. You made her feel better. You're going to feel better. Allah promises the hasanat will come into your heart right now. You're going to feel good because of the blessings of Allah. And your brain starts rewarding you. And Allah will open the doors of relief in your chest. Right? So you'll start feeling better and you'll be like, wow, I can't wait to do another good deed. So it starts a chain reaction. All it took is what? One good deed. Suddenly, brothers and sisters, I promise you, it's an incredible therapy. Medicine for all the scars and the wounds. Do a good deed. But don't delay it. Who put that formula into this existence? Allah Azza wa Jal. No one heals like Him. It's instantaneous. That's why when people come and ask me, like, I'm having a hard time with Iman, faith, I say, right now go open the Quran, don't delay. Right now Allah is available, the Latif. Right now He can heal you. Right now He can make you think better about yourself. All it takes is one powerful, intentional action. Right now, don't delay it. The problem that we have is that we keep delaying. And the more that you delay, the more that you sink into your negative emotions. And the more that you sink into your negative emotions, the more that you shut down. There's some healing takes place through efforts that are intentional. That's the formula of Allah. We actually live and flourish through action. Kinetic action. Kinetic action. Like, activate the faith through action and it brings you to life. That's how Allah wired existence to be. Everything is moving. Molecules are moving. Electrons and protons are moving. We see life in motion. Intentional motion. When we become silent, shut down, become passive about our lives, everything shuts down. And again, as you do, it will be done unto you. You don't move, you don't come to life. And you don't live your potential. But I'm just telling you as an advice, brothers and sisters, if you're scarring, if you're feeling pain, get up and do something positive right away. Spiritually open the Quran. Get up in the morning and pray Fajr. Spend your time in prostration. Make dua in trust and think of Al-Latif working your life right now, and there's a purpose behind the pain. Remember the story of Yusuf again? All his pains for 40 years at the end culminated in something amazing. There was purpose behind it, he just didn't see it. And I'm going to tell you one more thing that I feel is a problem in our lives, which is the expectation, unreasonable, unrealistic, crazy expectation that we should be going from 0 to 60 in no time. How many of us think that way? We don't give ourselves time to grow. That our levels of understanding are not the same. We're not meant to acquire understanding at the same time because we're wired differently. That's why even in cars, not all cars can go 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds, right? My car takes 8 seconds. That's what it is, right? It's designed that way. It's not a Porsche, I wish, but it's not, right? What do we want? We want to grow in faith, have answers to things, have resolutions to things, not in 40 years as the story of Yusuf, right now. And if it doesn't happen, the changes occur. If they don't occur right now, I'm going to be upset. And we start becoming bitter and blame, become angry at Allah even, question Him. And you know what happens when we question? When we question the Latif, we distance ourselves from His abundance. Because, by the way, we cannot change a thing. All we're doing is that we're spiritually depriving ourselves. You know the best that we can have? And I really want to share with you, brothers and sisters. When you make dua for Allah to relieve you from your problems. But you got to do it with trust. what I'm asking for might not be the best thing for me. How many of us would trust that Allah Al-Latif is doing what's best for you right now? If you cannot find a job, right now, it's for a great reason. Maybe you're not ready. Maybe if you get the job you want, you'll wreck your life. Maybe He's saving it for you to see how patient you'll be, so that you can meet another person a year from now who will open a better door for you. Maybe He's not giving you a job right now, so that you can actually think about graduate school. How often does that happen? Right? I swear to you, I've seen stories in my life. Like, it happened to me personally. All the dreams that I had, academically, were like shut down by Allah, by virtue of an illness, so that I can undertake another path in my life. Did I see it at the time? I was griping and complaining like there's no tomorrow. I find myself with you today because of that thing that happened to me some 20 years ago. I would have never, and I didn't know Allah, the subtle, the discreet,